Uh, Shakespeare said that all the world's a stage. And that is he was a very mystical, spiritually illumined person. If you read his writings, you'll capture that throughout. And understood everything in human life, what was mature or not, what was elegant or beautiful, what was evil. Great insight to everything. Beyond that today, we're going to go to what's behind the stage. In one area, you have Satan that propagates, that creates the image of there being a world or individuated bodies. And there never were. In your soul, in your spirit. Everything that happened in your life to this moment was ordained of God, ordained of you, to understand what we're going to say today. In saying that the world's a stage, everyone is a projection of something called Satan, the dark force behind it all, or like dungeons full of these beings, with all kinds of weird, ugly chants, and it's a joke because it's nothing. It's a puff of smoke. If we immediately capture the idea that we are spiritually illumined people, and all of us enjoying this are spiritual, we know what's behind it all. That's the truth. That's God. That's eternal. That's forever. So everything that happened in your life was to bring you to this point where you can see that no matter what the tragedies were, the good, bad, or indifferent, they're only necessary for you to understand what's being said now. When you're very quiet, it all dissipates, disappears. It's nebulous, empty. Speaking these words for all of us who are quite spiritual. We have these transcendent experiences every day in our life, don't we? And yet the madness of each day tries to hold us down to be this person Robert or Susan or Mary or John, and we're not. We never were. Shakespeare was quite correct. Everyone is an actor on the stage of the earth. For spiritual, we understand behind all that, there's a soul that's forever. That's who we are. So everything that happened in our life, after today, we'll look at and see is not a tragedy, not even an event, just a little learning. It's a tool so we can help pull the next 10 or 20 or 3,000 people out of the madness. Our consciousness is void and empty of solidity. There is just an openness, a purity, a beauty, a kindness, a depth of bearing that's touched in true love. Being a mother, a child. And as spiritual beings, when we're very quiet, we'll see how all the events, I've been trashed, although I've had this experience all my life, very close to God, I've been trashed every day in some subtle way or large way all my life. We all know what's being said. And this is the point. When we look quietly at everything that happened, what we gain is a sense of what we learned spiritually from all these experiences. We see who and what came at us, and now we have a great spiritual wisdom, don't we? And that wisdom foretells the near future, when we'll download the entirety of our case, meaning our tragic experience here and what it's done to us. To the heart of the matter right now, we're very quiet, remembered before time, before birth, this openness, this purity. It's not just an openness of purity, the air is endlessly more than a word called ecstatic or beauteous or true or eternal. It's touched with true love, with kindness, with purity, but it's infinitely more subtle and open and grand than that. And at that stage we see the holy ones, the transcendent ones. We begin to see that which has been called God, the eternal one, the pure light, the holiness of eternity. And we leave this world behind, and we have to say very clearly that it's infinitesimal, and it's propagated by this infinitely minute being called Satan, but it seems like such a big deal. Yet when we fall in love, we hold a hand with the one we love, or we create beauty, or we're a teacher, or mastered any art or trade, we're, you know what I mean, or a really strong dad, you know your identity. And with that, you begin to touch, you have a touch hold onto eternity. And if you just simply, very quietly, look at all the things that happen in your life and see what you've learned, you'll know why you're here and what to do. And it's not that we're just going to raise the next generation a little better than we might have had it. We're going to raise the next generation of spiritual presences. We are not human beings in a world. We are spiritual presences in an endless purity called heaven, and it's there now. And we stop identifying with being the person that was attracted to or repelled by this or that in the world, and we'll see that everything from birth to this moment, we're all utterly different. But look back at our personal, private life. It's very private, isn't it? It's more personal than we can ever reveal to anyone. And when we do reveal to someone, it doesn't work because people don't know how to listen to one another. Truly, in absolute quiet. And then let it go, because when you let it go, it never was. Only that openness that we call God. So let go of your case. See what propelled you to this point. Allow yourself to be illumined, enlightened, transcendent of the world of want or need, but not kindness. That's the way we deal with that around us, that which is around us. Kindness, truth, but there's a strong bearing, there's maturity. But our own inward nature is an untellable openness. Call it a sweetness, but in a utterly pure sense. And beyond that, and beyond even what we worship as God, and God is endlessly humble toward us, but at a point when we work through our case and realize why we're here, and we're reaching our hands out to help who and what we can, when we can, help them download their case, and I'll explain exactly how to do that in a moment. There'll come a place in awareness where we'll say, if I'm doing a depossession with someone, in other words, someone might have a neighbor that's really ugly and evil, and we'll say my buddy Rob here, I'll call him John the Baptist while I work with him. I've known him 40 years, so he's very, very, very psychic and spiritual, and we're all still working on our own personal problems, but when you work with someone like that, then it gives you a very powerful identity. So I'll assume the identity of Jesus Christ, but not me, Robert. It just happens. And so I'll guide John to look at someone that's been very evil, and he'll be viewing the person that we're looking at as being evil, and without any reaction or thought about it, just describe who and what the being is. And then who and what the being that's projecting this person to be that. And then you'll eventually get to that dungeon where all this is produced from Satan's kitchen, and then when you get to that, then it's gone. It'll go up in a puff, no matter what's bothering you. A neighbor, an authority figure, a bank account. When you get to the bottom of it, this won't be here, you won't be here, and you realize why everything in your life happened the way it did. It gave you great wisdom when you relate it to your soul, to your spirit, to God, to eternity.